much for listening to what I have to say. I do go and speak about the dangers of vape pens. I'm your juvenile judge, and there is a crisis going on where it's the in thing for our youth to get involved with illegal vape pens. All vape pens are illegal for children. Let me get that straight. All vape pens are illegal, but the ones that have nicotine are considered a Class C misdemeanor because you have to be 21 years or older in order to purchase one. But a Class C misdemeanor is not that bad because it gets erased from your record. It's just a fine that you have to pay, and that's all. The problem is the ones that have other illegal substances other than nicotine. And I'm talking about concentrated marijuana, which is commonly known as THC. THC is a terrible, terrible thing because this concentrated marijuana, not that I want to say that the other kind of marijuana is fine, the plant-based, the one that people smoked back in the 60s, antes la marihuana que había antes es la de la planta. Esa marihuana, ¿verdad? Es mala y es ilegal, pero esta otra marihuana, la concentrada, es peor. Before, back in the old days, the marijuana was plant-based, and it's bad, it's illegal, it's toxic. But this one, the one that these children are using, is tenfold worse because it is concentrated marijuana. And it has many, many terrible consequences for our youth. Legal consequences, it gives them a permanent record. Many people think, and they're very mistaken, that juvenile records do not matter, that juvenile records go away when a child turns 18, and that's not true. They're very mistaken about that. Juvenile records do matter, and they do stay on the juvenile's record forever. There's two types of crimes: misdemeanors and felonies. Hay dos tipos de crímenes: los crímenes que no son muy serios, que se les llama misdemeanors, y los crímenes que son serios, que se llaman felonías. The misdemeanors, I composed this poem or this verse: misdemeanors go away, felonies stay. Los crímenes no muy serios en el récord juvenil tal vez se vayan a ir borrando con el tiempo. Those misdemeanors might go away, but the felonies don't. And guess what? Taking a vape pen with concentrated marijuana to school is a third-degree felony. That if that person were an adult, it would be punished up to 10 years in prison. A third-degree felony does not qualify for an automatic sealment, and I'll explain what that is, and it doesn't qualify for an expungement, and I'll explain what that is. Under juvenile law, Texas has allowed what is called automatically sealing a record, meaning the juvenile doesn't have to do a thing. That record gets sealed. That means it's under lock and key. Who has the key? I do. The juvenile judge has the key. And that key cannot be opened except for certain circumstances. It also allows the juvenile to legally say that they don't have a record. So if it's sealed, if the record is sealed, the juvenile can, if somebody asks them, hey, Johnny, do you have a record? And that Johnny can legally lie and say, no, I do not, because the record is sealed. Misdemeanors get automatically sealed. The juvenile doesn't have to hire a lawyer, doesn't have to file a petition, doesn't have to do anything. By law, misdemeanors get automatically sealed. Felonies don't. Felonies do not get automatically sealed. That juvenile has to hire a lawyer, file a petition to get the record sealed. And sealing a record does not mean that the record doesn't exist. The record is there under lock and key, but it's there. So let's say that juvenile, if he wants to join the military says, thank you, Johnny, for wanting to join the military. Here is your form where you're going to give me consent to see your juvenile record that is sealed. If you want to join the military, you gotta sign this consent that I have to see your juvenile record. I signed dozens of those, of many adults that say, Judge, I want to join the military. I want to do this. I want to do that. I'm filing my consent for you to open my record to so and 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 so. So that record is there. What's the point of having it sealed if many of these opportunities say, well, your word is not good enough. We want you to sign a consent for you to show us your record. Pero como quiera, sealing a record es una protección muy grande. But still, sealing a record is a protection. But if you have a felony, you don't even have that protection. It's not automatically sealed. Not too long ago, I met a young individual. I have his picture to prove it. I met him here in Harlingen. He was buying clothes for his children, used clothes, not buying clothes, asking for free clothes, free used clothes, so that he could give his children clothes to go to school. He told me that he was a product of juvenile court, not under my, not under me, under previous administrations. And he told me he paid a lawyer $5,500 just to get his record sealed. Que le pagó a un abogado, este pobre hombre, $5,500 para poder sellar su récord. Y según él, el abogado no hizo su trabajo y no le selló nada y ahora andaba ahí pidiendo ropa usada para sus hijos. Porque tenía una felonía. Llevar drogas a la escuela es una felonía. Y las pobres criaturas no saben eso. Es muy importante que los papás estén al tanto de sus hijos y que les pongan atención. Now, let's talk about an expungement. An expungement is the best thing. Ask Noe Garza. He's an expert at expunging records. Yes, you are. Anyway, an expungement is the total destruction of the record where it doesn't exist, but it costs a lot of money to do. But guess what? Misdemeanors qualify for an expungement. You gotta hire a lawyer. It's a little complicated. He can do it. But if you have a felony, my sweetheart, you cannot get it expunged. Felonies don't qualify for an expungement. There are other tricks that can be done. You file a motion for new trial and all of that. But you have to open up, get rid of the case, resurrect it again. And it's very, bottom line is, felonies cannot be expunged. So what does that happen? That juvenile, by the time he's 18 years old, he starts his adult life with 1 foot in prison because he cannot get a good job. He cannot go to the military. He cannot get into medical professions. He cannot even be a truck driver because in the truck driving business, they see those drug, no. They don't want anybody doing drugs because then if they have an accident, their liability goes up. So the ramifications of the legal consequences are terrible, terrible. Now, let's talk a little bit about health-wise. Oh, everybody thinks that marijuana is benign, that it doesn't do anything. They're wrong. The human brain does not fully develop until the age of 25. So if the teenage brain is trying to grow, if you inject toxic substances to that teenage brain, that brain will not fully develop. And it will be susceptible to horrible mental illnesses and conditions, schizophrenia, bipolar, depression, anxiety. That's what marijuana will do to the teenage brain. Don't believe me? Google it. And tell what the teenager does is terrible. Most of the kids that I deal with in juvenile court, they're not bad kids. Se los prometo. La mayoría de los niños que yo veo en mi corte no son malos, para nada. Para nada. Yo no, uno que otro he visto que sí, pero la mayoría son como nosotros, que somos gente buena. Esos niños que yo veo, the children that I deal with, are children that have ADHD. ADHD is like rampart, like it's everybody has ADHD. There's a correlation, because I'm always reading stuff, always. There's a correlation between ADHD and addiction. But the problem is, we need addiction, they do drugs because of pain, some kind of emotional pain. And in order to cure them from that addiction, it's not putting them in prison. And I mean, sometimes you gotta, but come on, it's not putting them in prison and putting them down and insulting them. We gotta do something to figure out what's the root of that pain that they're trying to escape. It's like an alcoholic. They drink because of stress, or they smoke because of stress, or I eat because of stress and because I like it. But anyway, there's some kind of pain that they're trying to escape. And the problem is trying to find out why. It starts many times, it's home. Now, I've developed certain programs. I called to not give them, one of the things is I'm a fierce defender for no criminal records unless absolutely necessary. Third strike, you get the felony. But I give them one strike, second strike with more conditions, and then the third time, está bueno, mijo. Usted ya me pidió la felonía, ahí está. Pero antes ni siquiera le daban un strike a la primera. No, dales la oportunidad de trabajar con ellos tantito. When I first started, there was no chances. First time around, they got that felony adjudication. Now I do the third time around. First time around, okay. First time around, you get VIP, no record. With your conditions, you gotta go to classes, you gotta do this, you gotta do that. That didn't work. Okay, let's go to step 2. I still don't give you a criminal record, but you're gonna spend 10 days in juvenile detention so that you'll know what it's like to be in jail. That works. Esos no son 10 días, son 14, porque los sábados y los domingos no cuentan. So the second time that they're with me and they keep on coming out positive, they go to juvenile detention 10 days. In fact, they keep on going to juvenile detention 10 days every single time that they come back positive or they don't go to school. That doesn't work. Third time around, fine. Now you get your juvenile record, and now you're on probation, and I can send you to one of those rehab centers for up to 110 days. That doesn't work. You're gonna go to boot camp from 6 to 9 months. That doesn't work, you go to juvenile jail. That doesn't work, by that time, you're in prison. The VIP program, the first time around, 85% success rate. It is the #1 most successful juvenile program we have. Most of the kids, 85% of them, never come back, and they don't spend not even one day in detention. It works. I'm here. I was born in Brownsville, raised in Matamoros, was a prosecutor for 23 years, and then I was a criminal defense attorney. I worked with my husband. We did criminal law, and I can tell you that 99% of all the criminal cases that we handle started in juvenile court and started with drugs. So that's our passion, is to stop people from doing drugs, especially children. And it's a terrible thing, those vape pens, because they are they're very evil. The people that do these drugs are evil, because they disguise those pens to lure them. They look very innocent. They even package them, some of them, like markers, like highlighters, and it's a vape pen. They package them with colorful colors that look rosy and beautiful to lure the young that are stupid enough to do those drugs. So I go throughout the valley, throughout Cameron County, through all the schools, and I give my talks, and I tell them about the dangers of smoking vape pens. But I usually like to talk to the parents, because the parents need to be vigilant of what their children are doing. Thank you.